Cleopatra was one of the most powerful rulers of the ancient world, yet the story of her death comes from her enemies. Tonight, we strip away the myth and look at what really happened in her final days. Cleopatra VII Philippator has been remembered more as a symbol than as a ruler. For centuries, she has been portrayed as a seductress, a manipulator, a beautiful woman who controlled powerful men through charm alone. This version of Cleopatra is convenient, but incomplete. In reality, Cleopatra was born into a royal dynasty that ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. The Ptolemies were Greek in origin, outsiders ruling over an ancient civilization far older than their own bloodline. This meant Cleopatra inherited not only wealth and power, but instability, resentment, and constant political pressure. From a young age, Cleopatra was trained for survival in a dangerous world. She studied mathematics, philosophy, astronomy, medicine, and rhetoric. Unlike her predecessors, she learned the Egyptian language and immersed herself in local culture. This was not curiosity, it was strategy. Cleopatra understood that to rule Egypt, she needed legitimacy, and legitimacy came from intelligence, preparation, and control of narrative. Long before Rome saw her as a threat, Cleopatra had already mastered the art of power. Egypt was not just another kingdom. It was the economic backbone of the Mediterranean world. Its grain fed Rome's massive population. Its wealth funded armies. Its location made it strategically invaluable. Rome did not need to conquer Egypt immediately. Instead, it preferred influence, loans, political pressure, alliances, and debt. By the time Cleopatra took the throne, Egypt was already tangled in Roman affairs. Every decision Cleopatra made carried enormous risk. A single miscalculation could give Rome justification to invade, and Rome was always looking for reasons. Cleopatra ruled knowing that her kingdom was both powerful and fragile. She understood that brute force would not protect Egypt. Only diplomacy, intelligence, and calculated alliances could delay the inevitable. Her reign became a constant balancing act, one mistake away from collapse. Cleopatra did not inherit a stable crown. Almost immediately, she was forced into a civil war against her brother, Ptolemy XIII. Court factions plotted constantly. Assassinations were common. Loyalty shifted overnight. Cleopatra was eventually forced into exile. For a brief moment, it seemed her reign had ended before it truly began. But Cleopatra understood something vital. Power is not always held by armies. Sometimes it is held by timing. She waited, she watched. And when Julius Caesar arrived in Egypt pursuing his enemies, Cleopatra saw an opportunity to reclaim everything. Cleopatra's meeting with Julius Caesar was one of the most consequential encounters in history. Whether she was smuggled in a carpet or entered quietly matters less than the result. Cleopatra presented herself not as a defeated queen, but as a strategic partner. She offered stability, wealth, and loyalty in exchange for power. Caesar restored her to the throne, Egypt regained temporary independence, and Cleopatra secured the most powerful protector on earth. But this alliance made her enemies, especially in Rome. Cleopatra had aligned herself with a man who would soon be assassinated, and when Caesar fell, so did her shield. Caesar's assassination shattered the political order. Rome plunged into chaos. Cleopatra returned to Egypt knowing that her future was uncertain. She ruled carefully, eliminating internal threats, consolidating power, and preparing for Rome's next move. That move came in the form of Mark Antony. Antony was a military leader, ambitious and volatile. Cleopatra recognized him not as a lover first, but as a necessity. Their alliance was forged through shared interests, not romance. Together, they ruled vast territories. Together, they challenged Rome's balance of power. And together, they drew the attention of Octavian. Octavian understood that he could not defeat Cleopatra and Antony by force alone. He needed Rome's support. And for that, he needed a villain. He made Cleopatra that villain. Through relentless propaganda, Cleopatra was portrayed as a foreign temptress who controlled Antony and threatened Roman values. Her intelligence was erased, her leadership mocked, her power reduced to manipulation. Rome did not declare war on Antony. Rome declared war on Cleopatra. This decision sealed her fate. The Battle of Actium was not just a military defeat, it was a political catastrophe. When Cleopatra withdrew her fleet, history labeled her a coward. But modern historians question this narrative. The retreat may have been a calculated attempt to preserve Egypt's resources. Antony followed her, and by doing so, he abandoned the war. From that moment, defeat was inevitable. As Octavian advanced, rumors spread. Antony believed Cleopatra was dead and took his own life. He died in her arms. Cleopatra, now completely alone, was captured by Octavian. His intention was humiliation. He wanted to parade her through Rome as proof of his victory. For a queen who had ruled as a living goddess, this fate was unbearable. Cleopatra understood that her final decision would define her legacy. The official Roman story claimed Cleopatra died from the bite of an asp, but the details never aligned. Cobras are unpredictable, their venom is slow, no witnesses were present, and Roman historians had every reason to protect Octavian's image. Alternative theories suggest poison, execution, or carefully staged suicide. What matters is not the method, but the control of the story. Rome needed a clean ending. Cleopatra needed dignity. Cleopatra's death was her final political act. By dying on her own terms, she denied Rome the spectacle it wanted. She denied Octavian complete victory. She denied history the satisfaction of humiliation. The myth survived. The truth was buried. But beneath it all lies a ruler who understood power until the very end and forced the greatest empire on earth to lie. Cleopatra did not lose her power when she died. She lost it only when history chose to forget who she really was. Thank you for watching.